people that worked for John Brennan approached me while I was in my specialist training in the Navy.
I worked for Obama's National Security Advisor, General James Jones, and for about 8 years for the development of social media psychological warfare.
We're talking about military-grade psychological warfare weapons being used on American citizens.
Paid for by American taxpayers.
I was a contractor for various intelligence agencies. Our intelligence doesn't stay within our borders or within federal buildings.
Force Psychological Operations Group had no idea that we were going to be taking their years' worth of work that they paid us to do, and we kept the intellectual property rights to it and remarketed it, branded it commercially as the ShadowNet.
It pries into your demographic, your world. So if I want to blackmail you and put you under my thumb, not only will I know everything, I will know people I can get in contact to find out more about you. I had full access to communications between the former GCHQ director, Hannigan, Adam Schiff, Daniel Jones, Brennan, General Jones, and many, many more.
You may know where the Hillary Clinton emails are.
Do you want to see me in Leavenworth? Which I don't, by the way, so nobody raid me.
What basically you've heard just being described for the last 3 or 4 years with fake news and the fake news journalists, fake stories, fake dossier, all these things are attributes and characteristics of psychological warfare.
What did you name it ISI for?
I like the iPhone, Psy for psychological warfare.
Okay.
These operations aren't like just small things. They have to coordinate and organize all of these things. They have to coordinate with the assets they have in the media. And they have to do all of this without any attribution to themselves.
Welcome, everyone, to the January 6, 2022 JIT Report edition. And I have a special guest, Patrick Bergy, tonight. And so I'm going to be co-hosting with Blondie. How are we doing tonight, Blondie?
Evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. And I am really excited tonight. We have a real live whistleblower in the house tonight, Mr. Patrick Bergy. Great deal of respect for the man and for what he does. And he is going to drop the bombs tonight. We're going to have some great conversation with him. And he's going to, I think, on this day that is supposed to be in the, a liberal love fest, which is January 6th, he's going to bring the real truth of January 6th to us.
Yes, a victim of the swamp. His book, autobiography, how the deep state took down a 40-year-old PFC. So it'll be good to get him. He's on deck. But Blondie, before we get to Bergy, we have to talk about January the 6th. I have not been paying attention to anything. So you have to tell me what's the narrative, what's going on. Of course, I already know, I'm sure. But what, from your perspective today, what are you paying attention to?
Well, much like you, Jonathan, I am not paying a whole lot of attention to it. Noticing some links that have been dropped by Jen Psaki and the speech that was given by Biden, and also, the love fest that's Kamala Harris is having, regarding this day. This is a day of infamy for the Democrats. And so this is like their personal little Christmas. This is what they want to install in everybody's head, that this was an insurrection where nobody that was arrested got charged with insurrection. So there you go. Figure that one out. And so this is just a day to rub in the face of all patriots and just to, say, you see, you're just a bunch of anarchists and you don't want democracy. you want anarchy and you want to tear this place down. And this is what we're going to show the American people. But it will backfire greatly, as it has been, and people will see them for what they really are. But remember, the one trick that comes into the book of New World Order is that they always try to blame you for what they themselves are doing. So really, the insurrection is about the Democrats and what the Democrats did, in conjunction with FBI informants and all the rest of them. It will all come out in the wash.
I'm going to play a video here in a minute that is from Woo's News. I'm not sure if anyone has paid attention to what he was saying, because it is a little out there. It is a little out there, but it gets into the fact that DHS has these crisis management teams that are going to play it. It's going to go through pretty much kind of focusing on the Ashley Babbitt incident. Then I want to get some reaction, and I want to see what Patrick thinks about it. Here we go.
Read me.
There's some protests happening down outside the Capitol.
The simulated riots in D.C. was a powder keg long in the making. The evidence for pre-planning and setting up a situation for a disaster is overwhelming. Paid actors.
We can take that place. We got more people coming up. Let's get them down here on the flag.
There's your boy
I
Alex.
confess that I was paid to pretend to protest today.
Lady, I'm gonna break your fucking phone if you don't stop.
They hit me with bullets. They're not officers, man.
Controllers.
They were guys, they were almost like monitors. They were like corralling them, and they were telling them what to do, and they did everything these guys did.
Bring the rifle!
You can drop down into a room underneath the people.
Take a step back. Do your job. Get out.
And Hollywood tear gas and mace. All on display for hundreds of professional photographers conveniently on scene.
How convenient, Blonde.
In this episode, we're going to analyze the climax of the story and show you how a little stage direction and fake blood became an instrumental role in furthering the division of the nation.
And he was hiding there. She had no idea that he was even sitting there aiming a gun right at her face.
There's no talk anymore!
I didn't see it, but
They expect us to believe this narrative.
This is Everything Wrong with the Capitol Shooting.
I'm convinced it was the American State from what I saw.
You guys gonna come in the building?
Only on Woo's News.
Right.
The Homeland Security Exercise and Evaluation Program provides a
This is
set of
important.
guiding principles for large emergency response drills. In these guidelines, we read about the various roles such as players, controllers, simulators, evaluators, actors, observers. The term participant encompasses many groups of people, not just those playing in the exercise. The head directors of large emergency drills are called exercise controllers. Their job is to keep things running according to the master plan. And here's a cover of the guidelines manual, which spells sheep. Hasip. Any professional emergency response drill or military drill makes use of fake blood in a variety of forms. Blood capsules, sponges, syringes, and squibs. A simple blood squib is a pouch that is designed to break on impact. There are all kinds of squibs using various pumps and tube assemblies. Here's the HydroSim trauma bleeding simulation system. It's basically a small pack containing a fake blood supply and a pumping mechanism and some tubes. Some of them are battery operated. Now that we're equipped with the various roles, let's start the analysis. Aquí, outside the speaker's lobby. As a footnote, I am not affiliated with any gang. And I wasn't paid to make this video, so I'm looking at this completely unbiased. We've also added a time code to Jaden X's footage, which we'll call
X.
Angle 1. And let's review this
Sullivan, are they?
scene with
So
minimal
basically,
volume.
I'm going to go ahead and stop it there. And, Blondie, about a 40-minute video where it discusses way in more detail, but people can go look it up from Woo's News. course, probably have to edit this part out of YouTube. I don't think Woo's News are probably not on YouTube anymore. This is on BitChute. So anyway, I wanted to get your thoughts on that, Blondie. Do you see all the different actors and agent provocateurs and rollers?
I did. I seen that, and my question is, one of my biggest questions has always been, when I don't know, I seen Ashley Babbitt lying on the floor, and it's been told that she was shot in the neck, and the funny thing is, there's the way the blood is supposed to exit the body when you're shot in the neck, especially near a bleeder artery, and there's no blood that's anywhere. She should have really had some blood going on there. And not only that, but why wasn't there a forensic team brought in regards to the body? The body was just, they didn't cordon off the body. They didn't cordon off any of the, like a crime scene would do that.
Right.
Very strange to me. That's just not normal. That's not the way, if you're collecting evidence and, you need to be able to have a crime scene and forensically collect that evidence. So this whole thing stinks to high heaven. It's my feeling it's a false flag. They wanted to create this problem or do this insurrection because, they were pulling off. They wanted to divert your attention over to this side of the room, while the other side of the room, they're pulling off one of the biggest fraud voting cases of the century. So, it's a distraction. That's what it is. And I'm really going to be excited to hear what Mr. Bergy says regarding this quote unquote insurrection, because it's my understanding we've seen him there. So he's got a lot of firsthand knowledge, I would say.
I can't wait. In fact, I want to introduce him right now. He's a whistleblower. He's IT security specialist, former candidate for supervisor of elections. Get into the election stuff with him a little bit. Maybe talk about the hammer and the scorecard. McInerney, hammer and scorecard. Oh, we'll have to see what Bergy can discuss. But he was deployed all over as a military contractor, providing IT support for the DoD. One of his most notable projects was pioneering social media psychological warfare, known as IIA, or Interactive Internet Activities, for the DoD in 2008. Bergy, think we got him? How's it going?
Yes. Hey, good evening.
Good. Now, thanks for joining us, first of all, by the way, Bergy.
Oh, thank you for having me on and having this conversation. I'm not able to see you, but I'm assuming you guys can see me okay, correct?
You are good to go, brother. Yeah, I'm just a small guy, Bergy. I'm just starting out. I've got, I think, a pretty good camera. I don't have the setup that you have, obviously.
No.
Nor the knowledge.
I don't have, this is from scratch, my friend. Do I appear like I know what I'm doing here?
We see you, you handsome little devil.
Yeah.
Hey, can I show you something really cool?
You can do whatever you want to do, Bergy.
When I came in, I ran out to have a cigarette. When I came back in, there was a box waiting for me.
Oh, really? Something
Yes.
for your son's computer?
No. I was just blown away. And somebody told me a couple days ago, I remember, cause I get a lot of messages coming in. Somebody sent me a message a couple days ago confirming my address here at the office, right? And I didn't know what they were doing, but I just got this. I just got this in the mail. Can you see that?
How about that?
Freaking, I'm going to take it out. Just had to show it was in such a beautiful box. But somebody, I have no idea. I have no idea.
How about that?
Right?
Did it have your name on it?
Yes, it's got my name carved in it. PFC Patrick Bergy. It says,
that is
in
cool,
honor of
man.
PFC Patrick Bergy. Thank you for your dedicated service, loyalty, and commitment to the American awakening.
That is beautiful. And you don't know who sent that to you?
I do, but I can't think of it, and I can't find it right now. I mean, literally, it was as I was walking in the door. I had to share that with you. This was amazing, wasn't it?
Oh
That
my
is
God,
awesome.
that's a tearjerker.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So, do you know the spot you're gonna put it yet? You found a home for it?
I gotta find a home for myself first.
Might look good
No,
right back
yeah,
there
I'll go-
behind you on the desk, man.
I'd say
Put it
go
up.
on the mantle. I don't have quite, this isn't Levin's nice set right here. This is a little bit, this is Levin light. So I don't have like bookshelves and stuff to sit it on.
All right, so we got to jump right into it, Bergy. I'm not giving you a pass now. We got to jump right into it. Being January the 6th, it was just kind of ironic the timing. I mean, I really didn't kind of plan. I mean, it was. I took a kind of a break, and I said, well, you know what? Because of January 6th, because of the truth and the importance of this story that needs to be told, and just other things that are going on, I said, let's go ahead and get back into doing these shows. So it's just an honor to have you. I've obviously followed you for quite some time, and I can't thank you enough for sitting down. But I want to get right into it. You were there on January the 6th, correct?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Obviously didn't go in the Capitol, didn't do anything, stayed back, right? Like most people, right?
Yeah.
And
I was, where I was, we were where Trump had his big speech. We'd gotten in. It was funny. We were right behind Ali Akbar, and they weren't letting him in. And it was pretty funny. He's like, I'm, Ali Alexander, and I'm sitting behind him going, suck it. But he made it in, and I was right there in behind him. Now, when it ended, I had left with Tori, and she refused to. She made us take the long way back around. I was like, I had a bad leg, and hell, she had glass in her foot and wouldn't go around towards the Capitol area. I had no idea what was going on. I could see everything that was happening at the in the tents and the VIP tents at the event on January 5th, and all those little IIA assets running around there. But I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know anything like what was going to happen on the 6th that actually happened.
So are Ray Epps and Jaden X, John Sullivan, I know John Sullivan had his $90,000 confiscated after he sold the material to the news organizations and whatnot. But why are they not in jail? And that clearly is something we should be looking at, right? I mean, if you read the court documents, there's how many unindicted co-conspirators, which are obviously, when we say unindicted co-conspirators, we just mean paid assets, right?
Well, that guy Jason Funes, you've heard me talk about, and that Jason Funes vile voicemails. That's always one of my favorite things to play. But Jason Funes, he had inserted himself when we were at the Willard with Rudy around the 10th or 11th in that area. And in fact, you're talking about like the John and James Sullivan. We were trying to confirm whether or not we'd heard rumors that his father was like a colonel or a general in the PSYOP community, right? That their father was. I had never been able to confirm that with anything solid, right? The drivers, the way we found them, though, was that guy, Jason Funes, who's absolutely an asset. He apparently found the parents of James and John Sullivan's driver's licenses. He claimed he found them on the sidewalk. So, and I have screenshots of the actual driver's licenses and the conversation that he was having about it with that guy Sean Weitzman, who was
that's him,
also,
Blondie.
He was also one of the people that were indicted by that, and so these are going in my book. The book's going to be very interesting, but there was so much of a game going on. It's not even funny, right? So those driver's licenses, I highly doubt, were found on a damn sidewalk by Jason Funes.
Right. What do you know about Seth Rich's? What do you know about Seth Rich's murder with Rosenstein connection and the link, the WikiLeaks and Julian Assange? I want to touch on that real quick. Please talk on that whole scenario.
Well, I know that I know Tory was involved with it somehow with the Seth Rich thing. That was in Shadowgate 2, I think, that they showed some of the court documents. She was subpoenaed by him, but
yeah, I'm gonna play Shadowgate 2 trailer later. I played the first trailer on the cold opening of the show, so I think if you have not, guys, seen that documentary series, definitely worth the peek. But yeah, keep going, Patrick.
It is. And I look back at it. I'll look every time I put it all together for my second book, kind of transcribed everything. And every time I would go through it, I would see something different, especially as time goes by, right? So a year passes and you learn a lot more about how everything was put together and who was involved. And then you look at the movie, the documentary after that, and you go, okay, this isn't, things weren't exactly as they appeared, right? So just for example, like with the James and John Sullivan, that guy, Jason Funes, he's connected to Jacob, the shaman guy, the J6 shaman guy. He engaged, as I understand it, he engaged the shaman's mom, and got their attorney fired, and his attorney moved in, right? Which I believe was the same attorney, Pearson or something, that worked with Lynn Wood. And he's connected to all of those guys.
Yeah, we're going to get to him.
Got these assets that are going around manipulating this entire situation, right? And that's the best that I could really say. A lot of people run it, for sure. Just a lot of people. Some and trust, some you've never met or heard of, that are running around in the background manipulating all of this stuff. And that's not, they've never been able to get me to play along with that. I refuse.
Right. And, I wanted to, we could sit here and talk about January the 6th and face, right?
It is January 6th, 1 year later.
Yeah.
Today.
Yeah. And the reason I don't really quite talk about it a whole lot, it gets me absolutely infuriated that we have guys still in solitary confinement, 81 of them, that are being denied medical treatment, freedoms and care and basic civil rights, attorney right. It absolutely makes me want to throw up to think that we've actually gotten to the point where we're allowing that. We don't have anybody except a few America First kind of candidates that are reaching out and trying to do anything. I think they're all being represented by Sidney Powell. If not all of them, most of them.
No conflict of interest there.
Right. But I mean, we could sit here and talk about this until we're blue in the face. We don't have much time, and I hope you'll come on again.
Well, we could run this into my show if
we
you
have
want.
other, because there's just no way to talk about it in the time that we have. I know you have your show at 7:00 Eastern over on Twitch, the Bergy Bit, which is always fun to hang out in the Bergy Lounge. So while we have you, I want to cover a few things. I'm going to push you back on it. Was Seth Rich, murdered by the deep state? He was trying to blow the whistle. Don't talk long on it, but very relevant, because I think he was trying to whistleblow. It's very similar to Phil Haney, and was trying to get to people. I think the narrative is that it got to Julian Assange with WikiLeaks, and specifically that Apache Rocky news group getting blown up. Right, that was one of the big buzz leaks, and then of course we have the Podesta email leaks. Of course, we have a lot of stuff there, right? And you can go down the Snowden train. I think everybody that watches this show has watched that interview with Joe Rogan, so we're aware of all those types of things. And so what I want to kind of cover is just, was there some funny business with the deep state with Seth Rich, like we all confirmed? Do you think Julian Assange will be pardoned, and what's your stance? Just talk on that story, because I'd love to hear your take on it.
I think, I've always disagreed with the supposition some people have made about that the bandwidth wasn't capable of that occurring remotely, right? That it had to have been done with a thumb drive. I saw the data on that, and as a cyber guy, network security guy, I disagree with that, right? I think no, I disagree with that. And that's a big premise about what they make their case on that with Rich with. Now, I believe, and I've said this for the longest time, and if this is proven right, I get another plaque, right? Yeah. I've said for the longest time that WikiLeaks is WikiStrat. Follow? ISci, which was the name of the relational database that we had for ShadowNet, I believe is Sci Group, right? And I believe, and it's, I don't just say that because, oh, the names sound similar, which they do, and they like to stick to the same naming conventions. But I say that because a lot of the same people were involved with that. General Jones and Hayden were on the board of directors of WikiStrat. Khashoggi was exposed as being connected to WikiStrat. There are a lot of journalists that are connected to WikiStrat. I actually think it's kind of a honeypot for journalists, right? An MIC honeypot for journalists. So I think, if I were to guess, I believe that most likely it was Seth Rich was predictively modeled, right? They looked at who was in this area that had access, predictively modeled someone, picked him out, and got him to help them collect this information and get this stuff out. That seems pretty clear, right? A lot of the people that are connected to him are also connected to Isaac Cappy, right? And a lot of people connected to Isaac Cappy are connected to Michael Hastings. So like I said, there's a lot of games going on. I can't, I'm not, I wish the Department of Justice wouldn't be so, they just seems like they failed me, us, America, when it comes to, something that just seems like it should be so obvious to look and investigate into these legitimate connections into these things, because it's beyond someone like me or someone like you to do. But oh my God!
Now, didn't Seth Rich? The story is Seth Rich had the code to Hillary Clinton, the Dominion and the election software. He had some information how the Dominion software machines goes
Dominion, using that word Dominion is a setup. Dominion is a trap.
What do you mean? Explain.
Dominion's a trap. The whole thing's been a trap from the beginning. That's the best I can say on that.
Are you saying a white hat trap?
No, I would probably argue it was more like a black hat trap.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It seems
was
that,
trap, though, and that was basically verified to me by an attorney recently that I don't actually have a ton of trust in. But who can you trust these days? I can combine that with other things that I know and actually have a bit of confidence. It actually confirmed. I was told that by this attorney to confirm basically that everything I thought about that and had been saying has been right.
All right,
Well,
so go ahead, Blondie.
Mr. Bergy, you brushed over Isaac Cappy. I'm very well aware of Isaac Cappy. And a lot of people saw that very last video that Isaac did, which was the admission video, I could say. So I think if you know, can you tell us what was it that he was so filled with guilt about?
Well, his shit was hacked, right? Right, and I say that in a very Jungian Shadowgate way, right? But I for research for my book, when I went out to LA, I went to the crash site with Michael Hastings and spent a day in that area, and then on the way back, I stopped in Arizona at the bridge where Isaac Cappy threw himself off. And I did that without having a lot of garbage already information that had
did you pee in a bottle cap like
No.
Tom Hanks did?
No,
Yeah.
not. No.
Okay.
No.
You didn't want to post that on Instagram? Maybe roadkill question mark?
Right? Yeah, that is weird, right? These people are playing a damn game. They really are. But but when I stood there on that bridge and I looked over, I'm like, oh shit, there's a damn it's the entrance to a military base. So putting two and two together there, and with the other information that I have, I kind of suspect that possibly he got lured onto that base in the same way that Laura Logan tried to lure myself and Millie and Gavin onto Wright-Patterson Air Force Base right after Shadowgate. I believe that had we decided to go, I said, hell no, I ain't going, because I'd have to leave my sidearm outside the gate. That wasn't going to happen. So, but I think that if it happened to me, and I'm talking about the same people that have been attacking me, the same people connected to Shadowgate and all these things are absolutely connected to Seth Rich, are absolutely connected to Isaac Cappy and Michael Hastings. So if you rationalize that out, well, let's say maybe somebody said, hey, meet us here. We want to debrief you on something. Meet us here at this base. Let's say he does. Let's say a team like High Value Target and Interrogation, HIT, brings somebody in there. I actually know someone who was very close to, provably close to Cappy, who was actually a member of HIT. And I believe I believe this is connected to the hacked CIA files that he claimed to have, right? And the dead man switch that he put out. I'm half thinking, and this is this is all just speculation, by the way, put together by actually, personal knowledge that I have of working with some people and asking people who have been involved and connected pretty close. I've actually met several members of the Lizard Squad, right?
Right. You mentioned Laura Logan. Her husband, Joseph Burkett, is very interesting to look at, right? What military intelligence outfit did he work at? He was a contractor. I think he was an Army sergeant in the National Guard of Texas for about 9 years, but then went and worked for some private outfit. What was the name of the outfit? Do we know? Contracting?
Yeah, he worked for public reporting shows that he worked for Lincoln Group. I have independent, I have unverified independent, but pretty good knowledge information that he also worked for Leone on a contract at one point. I worked for Leone. I was exposing Leone in Shadowgate and Shadowgate 2. Lincoln Group, we exposed in Shadowgate 2, right? But then again, you know, there you go, where you have these people protecting these people, trying to protect these networks, and so you don't get the full story, right?
Yeah.
And that all bothered me, but what do you do?
I got a few more questions, and then I'm going to turn it over to Blondie, because Blondie's got all of the goods on a lot of the things that you were involved in. She's been doing all the so longer than I have. Red pilled maybe around 2014, 2013, and have last probably year since furloughed in aviation, having all this time on my hands, put it in another level, just kind of paying attention to things. But Blondie's been doing it forever. I'm going to turn it over to her in a minute, but I have to know what really happened with Millie's arrest. I think I've heard you mention and you know, maybe once, but I think it would be good to elaborate on that. Like, you know, obviously you guys put together Shadowgate, and the next day she's arrested allegedly over some incident with her mother, correct? So clear up everything on that as far as for everybody, because you know how things went with all of these telegrams and Discord groups and everything.
Well, I first was contacted by Millie and Gavin on 4/20/2020. It's an easy number to remember for me.
Oh, you like that number, huh?
Yes, I do. And but I believe they were contacted on about the 14th or the 16th. I've got all this stuff documented. And they were contacted. They were told about me by Tori. And apparently Tori had been following my stuff. Apparently they picked it up from when I filed my key tam in January 2020. And so I ended up going there 4th of July weekend. I rode my Harley up there. I interviewed with them, I think on either the 3rd, 4th, or the 5th, one of those days, and then I headed out on my bike. And, you know, we were in a COVID lockdown right then, pretty well. So when the government tells me, yeah, you got to stay at home, I'm like, you know, screw you, jumped on the Harley. And, I went up to Michigan, where I was, you know, born and raised up there. And then I ended up shooting over to InfoWars. So that was to InfoWars over in Austin. And I was actually going to leave. I was so this like maybe the 12th. So Millie got arrested on the 14th, right? Maybe the 10th or so. I'm literally just ready to cross the Texas. I figured nothing was going to happen with InfoWars, with actually being able to meet Alex. I didn't want to go on the show. I just wanted to talk to Alex about Roger Stone. You know, I just had questions, right? And I was like heading out. I was 3 hours past Austin, heading out towards leaving the state. And I get a call from Millie and Gavin. They're like, hey, can you turn around and go back to Austin? And so I did. I waited there a couple days. And then on Friday, I was talking to Gavin that morning on the phone. Cops showed up, and they arrested Millie, Gavin, and her brother as she was uploading the documentary. It was going to be uploaded. Alex was, to my knowledge, Alex was going to check it out. And then I was going to be able to speak to Alex either on Saturday or Monday, but we had pretty much figured it was going to be on Monday. But then when she got arrested, I kind of freaked out. I'm like, holy crap. That's not a joke, right? This is literally, this is for real. And so I freak out. So I go over to the InfoWars studio. I just pulled the address up online and just started, knocking on doors because I wasn't exactly sure what office it was. I went by a service process thing that they had done. And so I finally get the right door. I get invited in, and within a few minutes, I was on set talking to Alex. I was hoping that by going there, I was kind of I was totally freaking out, and I was hoping by going there, I was going to be going someplace where someone was going to be able to help me. But I was completely betrayed. Like, by the time I even left, he was in a cover your ass mode because he started I think people there were figuring out that this was actually exposing people that they were working with, like Zimmerman, who's connected to Epic, who's connected to Anonymized.com, who's
Zimmerman
connected to
Zimmerman being the InfoWars IT guy, right?
Repeat?
I said Zimmerman being the InfoWars IT guy.
The InfoWars and Epic IT guy, right? And Epic, which is a hosting company, was recently exposed in the Epic Fail hack, which released emails and such showing that Ali Akbar and others had purchased these horrific sites like Christchurch type sites and a couple hundred of different sites. And he was fearful of having them in his name after January 6th. So he had Epic use their service called Anonymized.com, which actually I'm finding more and more evidence. I'm still waiting for direct evidence. I know it's there. But when we can prove that, like, Anonymize is part of Anonymizer, which, as you know, Anonymizer was mentioned in Shadowgate 2, right? So if we can tie Anonymize to Anonymizer, which was mentioned in Shadowgate 2, now we've got another motive where Shadowgate 2 was potentially exposing the criminal activity that they were preparing and using to exploit the January 6th event with,
of course,
which would be Epic and all of these resources that you need to be able to do it. And now I would argue, people have been asking me for the longest time who I think is Q. Well, I don't know who Q is, but I would say that Anonymize would be the exact type of service that you would go to achieve actually probably Anonymizer, which would be more of an enterprise level. That would be the exact type of place you would go if you wanted to put stuff out and circumvent the detection protocols of the quote unquote 17 intelligence agencies, right? That's exactly the level of and type and level of service that you would need. So all these people tied and connected to that. Flynn, all of these people are directly tied and connected to that. That's their infrastructure. That's how they are running this influence operation. And, I don't care if you're on the left or on the right. I don't want you running, and they do these influence operations, using fake news, putting out known bullshit, fabricating known bullshit to win an election. I don't want to win that way. If you got to win that way, my friend, count me out. I'd rather lose, and I'm good at that. Just ask,
you know what? I see all the players, and it didn't take long. I mean, of course, did I think that the Green Bay Packers sweep, as Dr. Peter Navarro likes to talk about it, where it gets thrown to the House of Representatives, if could have gotten those legislators and congressmen and senators that were in there, we were all hoping they would kick it back to the states, and then it was like a 27-23, one vote, right? One vote per state. That would have put him in. That was what Bannon and Navarro were talking about. Most people don't remember the John Podesta-led Integrity Transition Project, and Elias out there. Most people obviously don't even know who these people are. And so the way I see it is it disrupted the ability for that process to be played out. And would it have happened? I don't know. But when Milley exposed the shutdown DC movement, and you had Maria Stefan, who was the director of the National Institute of Peace of this organization, which was also related to DOD SecDef Esper, which is why I believe he got relieved, or other reasons, of course. And here comes Christopher Miller in to save the day, right? It looks like Christopher Miller was a part of one of those 12 strong. I can't confirm that 100% because obviously those people's names aren't public. I don't really think that's classified information anymore now that they made a movie out of it. But but he was one of those, and you got Christopher Miller coming in to save the day, right?
Yeah.
And
well, by the way, even if they make a movie out of it, if it's classified, it's still classified till the classification authority declassifies it. If you have a clearance, if you don't,
very true. So I think that's what January the 6th was about. Obviously, there was a multi-pronged attack. They needed that narrative. What?
You know what January 6th was about? It was about everybody ignoring the arrest of an American journalist on August 14th. Because had they not ignored the arrest of this American journalist on August 14th, then we would have been having a conversation. We would have been having a conversation about, that was my daughter calling in right now. I feel terrible having to hang up on her. We would have been having a conversation about Obama's shadow net 3 months before the election. We would have been having a conversation about the partnership between Atlantic Council, who was chaired by my boss, General Jones, Obama's national security advisor, and how he partnered with, as chairman of the board of Atlantic Council, how he partnered with Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and all of these major platforms, and then set up the banning of Trump, the blocking of Trump's posts, the fact checking, the blocking of all the MAGA nationwide, worldwide, right? So had we had that conversation, which actually I would argue probably impacted the election of about 60 to 80 million. And by the way, how much do they say that Joe Biden won by? 60 to 80 million. We got people running around, in my opinion, and it's not like people, oh my God, don't say this, but I'm saying it, right? We have elections. We have a constitution. Elections matter, even if they cheat, right? And so we had an election. And we had an opportunity 3 months before that election to expose what they used to actually influence the outcome of this election.
So who was the reporter that was arrested on August 14th?
August 14th was Millie Weaver.
Oh, okay.
She was uploading Shadowgate.
Play Shadowgate trailer 2.0. It's about 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes long.
What?
And then we'll get Bergy. Then we'll get Bergy back in here, okay?
I don't want to set the world on fire, honey. I love you too much. I just want to start a great big flame down in your heart.
Well, I got to admit, I found it very interesting how Paul Watson with InfoWars was able to say what he did about fake personas and everything with Leone, but when Milley broke my story as a whistleblower with Dynology doing the same thing, she was fired.
So bon voyage, Billy.
Find that interesting.
Camille Shidiak, co-owner of Leone Industries, a Pentagon contractor, has admitted to criminally targeting journalists.
Just days after contacting the owners of Leone Industries, a Pentagon-funded PSYOP contractor.
By the way, did I mention I worked for Leone? Where I resigned in disgust because of the way that they misappropriated money and wanted me to secure a classified network with a Linksys home Wi-Fi instead of a nice packet inspection high-end security, because they apparently spent their money somewhere else.
The PSYOP contractor that was given federal dollars regardless of the back taxes California-based Leone Industry owners owed
In the world of influence operation, there are no real political alliances. It's all about money, power, and influence.
I can answer the question as to whether or not government computers were used for the PSYOP, the IIA campaign against USA Today journalists.
Complete control of information on all sides of any particular narrative, counter-narrative, or disinformation campaign targeting an individual, group, or country.
So right now there's a court case going on in Hollywood, California, involving the owners of Leone. I'm pretty sure I'm the last person they want talking about this right now. It's involving hundreds of millions of dollars in Department of Defense IIA contract.
All right, Bergy. So Shadowgate 2.0. So yeah, we played Shadowgate trailer teaser that Millie put together at the opening of the show, and that is Shadowgate 2.0. So I want to ask again. I don't really think I got the answer. Then I'm gonna turn it over to Blondie because she's gonna deep dive with you on a few things. But so if correct me if I'm wrong, okay? So Millie had some altercation with her mother. Her mother was down in the basement on her device looking at the footage that was put together from the documentary, and Millie was worried that she would run her mouth or sabotage it or ruin it, or if there was some type of altercation, let's say, right?
No, well, let me just tell you what actually happened.
Yeah, let me hear it.
At least the three people that were involved all said, in a way that it kind of seems like it was the truth. And that was, they walked downstairs on the 25th of April into their studio, and they found her mom with her camera phone recording stuff on their computer, right?
Okay.
And it was like Shadowgate related stuff. My book had just arrived, Victim of the Swamp, had just arrived, and literally that day.
This is August 14th, 2016.
No,
I'm saying the arrest date. The arrest date was August the 14th. What?
Yeah, the arrest date was August 14th. This is April
17?
2020.
Oh,
so 3 months before the election, Weaver was arrested.
Okay. Got you.
All
right.
And 3 months before that was when they caught their mom, and that was literally within 5 days of them actually reaching out to me. It was the same day that my book arrived.
Okay.
All right. And so they caught her down there. They have an argument. Right. Gavin describes it as best as a Jerry Springer moment, quote unquote.
Sure.
And but it's not just like it's not like a mother and a father. It's not like a husband, like a parent, like abusing something or a child. No, this was their two kids and a husband, right? So and their stories all matched up. So what they did is the mom left, went next door to the farmhouse next door. She had like a panic attack while she was there, and so someone called the ambulance because she was having trouble breathing. No one was hit, or there was no violence or anything like that. And so when the ambulance showed up, the police showed up apparently, and they had mentioned the altercation where they had taken her phone, but they took her phone because they caught her recording stuff, right? And so, but her mom didn't press any charges. In fact, told them to drop it. In fact, that's the statement that she made August 15th when this attorney, Kelly, contacted her. Right.
So the mother called the police. Who called the police?
The mother called a paramedic on April 25th.
Okay.
The police showed up on August 14th because from that event, A sealed indictment, a 12-charge sealed indictment was created. They impaneled it like a 17-person grand jury during the middle of COVID.
Thank you.
For
Exactly. This is what I'm trying to get to. This is what I'm trying to get to. This is what they do to people when you go after this stuff, like you said. I mean, this is what they do. They did it to Phil Haney. They've done it to every single one. I mean, you look at John Robertson, who was the FBI special agent in charge in New York, who went to Lisa Page about the Anthony Weiner laptop. They do nothing. They cover it up. And he has to go probably some island and change his name, you know. I mean, it's like, it's got to stop, you know what I mean? And so I'm glad you hit that. Sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to highlight that, you know, over some domestic incident, it makes you wonder, did somebody get to the mom? Did somebody go pay the mom and say, hey, Mom, go down here and get this stuff?
There's connections. How do you think Millie got her job on InfoWars? She got her job on InfoWars a few years earlier through her mom's ex-boyfriend, right? Who's an interesting character, as I understand. If you ever like Google like her mom's ex-boyfriend and look at the videos that he's put out on just attacking Millie and Gavin, it's just absolutely horrendous, right? I mean, it's serious stuff.
All right, Bergy, I'm turning it over to Blondie. You better buckle up. So, Blondie, you have the floor. I know you're gonna discuss things that are a little. You're just awesome with respect to your analysis. So, go ahead, Blondie. Let's hear it.
Okay, Bergy. I'd rather call you Bergy. I know you by that rather than Patrick. But
that works.
Okay. My questions are pretty well short and sweet. This is a question I've had. When you first had your interview with Alex Jones, okay, you had made mention that you did, you really never wanted to do that. You didn't want to have an interview with him. Can you tell us? You wanted to talk to him sort of off that interview platform. Okay. And he's going through a lot of stuff right now, obviously. It's always been known that Alex Jones has uncovered some things and other things were a little bit kind of difficult to believe or understand. What is he really about?
He is about the whole InfoWars infrastructure is nothing more than an IAA operation. I mean, literally, I was in the studio. It's in the heart of the Austin military industrial complex, right? So what is he about? Well, he betrayed me. Whether or not he did that because he was involved with this stuff, or whether he did that because he was just manipulated or blackmailed, I have no idea. Okay. But as I understand it from Millie, he had called and left a voicemail stating that it was Roger Stone that pushed him into firing Millie, right? And the stuff that they did with attacking Shadowgate, with using Caitlin Bennett and the stuff that she put out, no, they were protecting something that they didn't realize. And, and it makes sense because when Millie and Gavin, when they reached out to me, originally they said that they had recognized what I was saying in my key tam based on what they had seen in Charlottesville, and because they weren't even supposed to be there. In fact, they got in trouble by InfoWars for even showing up in Charlottesville. And what that did kind of exposed them to what was going on there, that little IAA operation, just a widespread. And so it's my belief that they saw that Shadowgate was kind of a way for them to expose what they were seeing with the people they were working with InfoWars and such. So, and I believe that's why Alex Jones and them, and keep in mind, she was a contract journalist with them for 8 years, right? And this wasn't just like a disgruntled employee type thing. I would argue she's probably like a whistleblower herself, but just did it in a different way. No, it's just my speculation because these people are all connected, and I don't have the answers. I can just state facts as to what happened. And, I was kind of lured into this because I put myself out there in the open with my key tam. But there's...
Did you ever have that talk with Alex?
Well, no, the only time I ever spoke with Alex was that one day. He didn't even have he was freaking afraid to even come up to me on January 5th. I tried to go over and talk to him, but he was surrounded by his security. I was able to go and talk to Roger Stone at the tent on January 5th.
Okay, so let me ask you this. It's kind of sometimes it gets to be a little touchy subject, but one thing I've noticed about Alex and some other people that are like him, they never ever talk about Israel.
Mm-hmm. Well, people talk about Israel, right? And they say, well, we want to talk about Israel. General Flynn wants to talk about China. The Democrats want to talk about Russia, right? I just say, can we just say the military-industrial complex? Can we just say the Israeli military-industrial complex? Can we say the China military-industrial complex? Can we say the Russian military-industrial complex? Because that's all this is. There are no more. There's no Israeli, right? And somebody made the argument the other day. Well, the guy in Israel, Netanyahu or whoever that is, they said, well, he's an evil man. And I said, well, then he's just an evil member of the Israeli military-industrial complex. I'm like, if you step in dog crap, is your first thought what breed of dog it was? No. Your first thought is to get it off your shoe. And right now, the way I'm trying to do is just get these people off my shoe.
Trying to get it off your shoe, huh?
We'll figure all that other stuff out later.
Here's what I want to do. I want to play a little word game for you. And what I want to do is I'm going to give you I want to give you names, and I want you to give me one word. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
General Flynn.
Okay.
Give me a word. Give me a word for it.
Give you one word for General Flynn?
One word. Yeah, when I say General Flynn, what comes to mind?
Broken.
Okay. Roger Stone.
No, Roger Stone. Just conniving scoundrel.
I don't know. No, wait. I'm going somewhere with this. Okay. Ali Akbar.
Oh God, terrorist. That's what I called him on January 5th with all of his friends around.
Okay.
People were looking at me like, what?
Sidney Powell.
Sidney Powell?
Yeah.
She's a conflict of interest, but that's like 3 words.
Yeah, that's
what I think when I think of her. She's a walking contradiction.
Okay. Steve Bannon.
Cambridge Analytica. And can I change my answer with General Flynn to Cambridge Analytica now?
Man,
okay,
I'll tell you what.
So,
can I change my Rudy Giuliani to Cambridge Analytica?
We're kind of getting an idea, what you're thinking about, when we say these names, because quite frankly, your thoughts are not far from ours. You understand that us as patriots and MAGA people have put a lot of our hope and trust and faith in these people.
Mhm.
And it was done so early on.
I did
And
as well.
yeah, and a lot of us have come to believe that they definitely have betrayed us and stolen the most important thing, which is our, well, tried to steal our patriotism from us and our love of our country. And, you know, to be frank with you, Bergy, we're really pissed off.
Yeah.
We're and now I've saved the big bongaroo for the end here.
Oh God.
As far as the name game.
Oh God, Linwood.
Can you?
I thought it was going to be Linwood.
I forgot to ask Linwood before Trump, but go ahead. Oh, I forgot.
Thank you very
Linwood.
much. You get, like I said, you
No,
gotta,
the preacher.
that was my Christmas hug.
I call him the preacher, Linwood.
Linwood.
Gosh, here we go.
AKA Foghorn Leghorn.
Oh, shit.
Well, I got one question before Blondie goes on Linwood.
No, he's got an answer about Linwood. He's got an answer.
All right, come on. Word for Linwood, I guess, isn't it? That was the playing blind.
Yeah, it's one. He's just got to do that and one more, and then I'm done with the word game. Go ahead.
Okay. How am I doing?
Okay, you're doing great. So tell us one word for Linwood.
For Linwood? Jesus. Just
Defamation?
no, I'm just gonna go with moron.
Oh my goodness.
He's been but dangerous, right? I think he's just been, these people just figured him for a sucker a long time ago, and they manipulated him and used him. They've been doing that since December of last year with that Cappy and the John Here to Help stuff.
Right.
That was all Tory. That was all of them, and I was right there watching that go down. I was desperately trying to get a hold of him to explain to him what was going on. I was never able to.
So
they kept blocking me with like Sidney Powell.
Yeah.
Right?
You say moron.
What's that? So, well, that's what I mean. I was kind of for a long time trying to figure out if he was malevolent or just a moron. Right? If he's malevolent, then he's actually working with these people intentionally as part of this a little psyop that they're running. But if he's just a moron, they're just using him. And he's allowing him to do it, and he's damaging our country in the process, which is a problem, right? It's not just, oh, he's just being stupid and he's hurting something in his community. No, this is like hurting our country. And then his stupidity and his ability to be manipulated ended up resulting in him posting some complete bullshit online, pardon my French, about me coming there to harm him, completely fabricated, completely false, used my name, put my name in damn quotes, right? And bye, honey, I love you. And put my name in damn quotes. And then I was attacked as like this heathen coming to harm him. But all he had to do was just Google my name, and he didn't. So what kind of defamation attorney, right, would do that? I mean, does anybody stop and just ask themselves, what's wrong with that picture? Why would what kind of a defamation attorney, what kind of a Christian man, right, would just be told something by someone he says he doesn't know in a phone call, which, okay, how did she get your number? And then believe it and then post it when you're one of the most renowned defamation attorneys on the planet. I mean, that's the definition of defamation. And so when smart people do really stupid things, I ask why. Are they just stupid and pretend to be smart? Or are they actually kind of getting caught in a little game that they're playing, and they're just going to play stupid?
Right. So two things. Hold on, real quick. Two things to note about Linwood. He was a registered Democrat, and he also allegedly, according to Kyle Rittenhouse, kept Kyle in jail, so that, well, the accusation is because you would able to raise more money if he's in jail.
Mind, all that information was coming, I believe a lot of that information was coming from Jason Funes. Remember Funes Vile voicemail?
Yes.
This guy's a sociopath. This guy was a guy that was putting out the stuff about that he found their the Sullivan's parents' driver's licenses on the sidewalk. This he's connected, but he's also and he's dangerous. But he's running around doing these operations. As I understand it, he's been subpoenaed he's now been subpoenaed by the January 6th Select Committee. I'm almost certain that's based on my testimony and my emails to the and other things to the J6 committee when I went up there in November. So
okay, so I'm gonna wrap this up because I do have just one more question that the audience out here wants to know, and I do too. So the coup de grace here, Bergy, is the last one is Trump. Give us your one
Trump?
Trump.
Yeah, I've tried to get a hold of Trump. I think Trump is a good man that loves his country, not perfect, right? But he loves his country. I think he got played. I think these people saw his amazing natural ability to be able to communicate to millions of people online, social media. I think they saw that and they targeted him. They put people in his area and pushed him until they basically isolated him from anything that was going around that they were doing, i.e., Cambridge Analytica and things like that. That's all Flynn and Bannon and well, hell, you got Wiki, you got Side Group tied into there, which ties Wikistrat, which ties Joel Zamel. There you go. There's your Israeli military industrial complex, right? Ties it all into the January 6th, every bit of it. But all I've ever seen with Trump is every time I tried to get this information to him, right up to the 13th, 14th, and 15th, 14th, 15th, and 16th of January, where I'm literally sitting in the hotel room in the suite with Rudy Giuliani. He's trying to get my information to Trump. He's trying to get a car brought around so that we could get so he could drive us to the White House to speak to Trump. But the closer we got, the harder we tried in those last few days. Literally, the faster they built the walls around the White House.
Okay, now that's funny you should say that, because Bergy, I'm sorry, not Bergy. Who's the other one that sounds like your name?
Patrick Byrne.
Byrne. I'm sorry. Patrick Byrne says almost. I'm sorry, I didn't mean. It's two different people.
Yeah, no,
Patrick Byrne.
I enjoy hanging out with him.
Yeah, Patrick Byrne kind of said the same thing, that he was in the White House, that people were trying to get to Trump, and that they couldn't get to Trump. And he witnessed it himself. This is per what he said.
You remember when Sidney Powell came out and said that Mark Meadows was the one that blocked her from getting to Trump at the last 11th hour? Remember she came out and said she couldn't even get access anymore?
What were they what were they blocking? What were they trying to get to him? They were trying to get the garbage. They were trying to get that Dominion garbage to him, right? And he probably had people that were protecting him from saying, this is bullshit, right? They had the knowledge. When Patrick Byrne did finally meet with him, he had the ability right then to tell him about the arrest of journalist Millie Weaver, about Shadowgate, about all this stuff. And to my knowledge, he didn't. And so that's why I circle back around to, we wouldn't be having this conversation about January 6th if we had done something, if humanity, if Americans had done something when Millie Weaver was arrested uploading Shadowgate. No matter what you think about her arrest, no matter what you think about any of that, it's been, you know, it's been verified, the claims that I've made in Shadowgate. Not only were they verified in Shadowgate and documented right there, which was you know, it was proven right. All of the people that were either connected to it or attacking it, those are the same people now getting served subpoenas and being indicted for the January 6th.
Yeah,
and they're being served subpoenas and indicted for on the exact same charges. It's like the charges were written out of Shadowgate.
Right. Hey, how are we doing on time, Bergy? We're at the hour-and-a-half mark. I know you got your show coming up in 30 minutes. Do you need to do some prep? How are we doing on time?
Doing fine on time. Probably going to want to take a break before we, you know, in between.
All right. Let's go 10 more minutes. Let's go 20 minutes. Is that cool for you? Does that give you enough time?
I got to ask this last question for him. Because this comes from the audience, and I want to honor our audience, okay? Because
by the way, I want to let everybody know. I wanted to give my full attention to Bergy. He has a lot of Tory trolls that come into his, you know, show and whatnot, and I think we're all familiar with the trolls. I figured I would probably get some, but that was not intentional. When I had OBS crash, when I went live initially, it crashed. Of course it does. So I had to reboot, restart, and then, of course, now my chat overlay window toolbox. So I have not seen any chats, and it's kind of, you know what? It's kind of nice. It's kind of nice.
Yeah,
all right, Blondie, go ahead.
It's less distracting.
Yes.
I'm looking at it, but this is, I can tell you honestly, this is not a Tory troll.
Okay.
So the question, I'm going to swing back around to January 6th.
Mm-hmm.
There was a photo op that was done with Ashley Babbitt's mom. I think, I don't know if it was today, but it was done with Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me your feelings about her?
Well, my feelings about Marjorie Taylor Greene is that she's way too connected to Matt Gaetz. And Matt Gaetz, my personal interactions with him, every single time have been, he's acted dishonorably. He's had my information since January 3rd of 2019. He, instead of actually doing anything with it or doing what he's supposed to do with it, he got a nice cushy, you know, seat on a chair on the Intel committee with Devin Nunes, who's also had this information and never did anything with it. But all the people that were attacking me and Shadowgate and all this stuff, Roger Stone's absolutely connected to Matt Gaetz. He's connected to all these people. And so I don't trust anything that Marjorie Taylor Greene says or does. She might be a great person, but I think she's, if she did come in as a natural, she is just like a natural candidate and won, then she was almost immediately, corrupted by these people and just right into their hands. So I don't trust anything with them. I don't.
I know that I always keep saying one last one, but this one, here you go. Mike Lindell.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
Got great slippers. I want some of those new slippers that you can wear everywhere. He's trying to turn America into a pajama party. How can you not like that? And
listen,
you notice like everybody's walking around in their pajamas now.
Listen, I don't care if you like him or love him or hate him. He seems to be one of the only ones fighting, and so I'm not going to sit here and nitpick.
I think he would be quickly and easily modeled as a predictable target. I think he was used and manipulated by General Flynn and these others, just like I believe Lynn Wood was, right? He everything about him, if you were to build like a predictive model from a psychological perspective, from an influence perspective, I would say everything about Linwood and Mike Lindell make them perfect targets for sociopaths like, General Flynn and these others.
So the question is, as Linwood once said, that he had the goods on Justice Roberts.
Okay, that was, well, yeah, and that was from the credible whistleblower. Well, what makes that whistleblower credible? To my knowledge, to my understanding, that was John here to help, and to my understanding, Tory was pushing all that bullshit behind him. So actually, because of the people I know that were actually pushing the stuff to him, how did someone determine he was a credible whistleblower, right? So when they start using terms like that and they push that stuff out, it makes me question everything about that. Now, were they talking, again, that ties back to the Cappy thing. What is true and what is not, I don't know. If I do know that somebody was playing a pretty serious game, and I believe it got at least 2 to 3 people killed, probably more, right?
I heard you mention Michael Hastings the other night on Alpha Warrior Show, and I'm telling you, Michael Hastings was working on something with Tom Clancy. He's also the one that was writing for, I believe, Rolling Stones or what have you, that came across Michael Yan when they were in Iraq with McChrystal. And so, you people need to know about Michael Hastings. His car just blows up right down the road in the middle of Beverly Hills. Now, I don't think it was an MQ-9. I just don't think that. I think they might have the ability to take over somebody's vehicle or something, or he just maybe hit an old spot.
That's going to be an interesting segment in my book too, because I can actually. I need to verify because
hold on, Blondie. Hold on, y'all. We got to leave it there. Bergy, tell us. Gosh, I know it. We could go on forever, right? But Bergy. Tell us about what you got coming next. Tell us about your book. No, we've been scrolling your stuff along the bottom.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, you guys can check him out at freedomstream.tv, and of course, he's coming in hot.
Show that book so our fan base can see it.
So you can, this is my first book, Victim of the Swamp. I think you originally announced it as Victims. I was actually going to name my second book Victims of the Swamp, but went with Operation Shadowgate. So Victims of the Swamp, you can get it on Amazon, or you can get it at freedomstream.tv, which is my site. If you get it at freedomstream.tv, I'll sign it and such. I'm a little bit behind on those right now. I have plenty in stock on these, though. I just got to get some out, and like I said, I got a lot of stuff going on. So, but with Operation Shadowgate, it basically tells it's a nice, beautiful color. It tells it's basically Shadowgate 1 and 2 transcribed, and then I kind of give some background on it, and it's called Part 1 because Part 2 is being told right now, and you can help because going out and doing this and spending time to put these together, it's not grifting. You can comment whether it's good or bad, but it's real. It's something. I took something here that's taken time, money, and other things to be able to put together in a way that people can look at, read, share, hopefully, and so you can get those. And you can help me out if you can by ordering those. I have, as you can see, the 2 coins up in the window, the no coin, Operation Shadowgate. If you do help with the pre-order, you get it's going to come with it'll come with a signed. The book will come signed, and then each of the coins are going to be numbered, and I'll put the number of the coin in the book. And that coin, the Operation Shadowgate American Awakening, looks just like the front of the cover. So it's kind of cool. And that's going to really tell an amazing story right there, though. It's going to be fully cited, and it really It's gonna. I think it's just gonna be mind blowing. If I'm able to, I'm hoping to be able to get someone in the next couple days. They're supposed to come in and sit in about 12 hours a day to help me take what I got so far and put it together by the 2nd of February, so we can get this printed and start shipping by February 22nd, right? But if I'm able to put this together, if I can get someone to really help me put this together, and go through the mounds of information I have, it's going to just make it even more spectacular. Even by myself putting this together, I think you're going to look at this and say, "Wow, what's going on?" You know.
That's awesome, dude. I want to thank you so much, and we're going to do some more because an hour and a half just can't cover all the things that we could dive into. But your show's coming up at 7:00 Eastern on Twitch.
Yes, sir.
The Bergy Bit. So it's
you know, they want to know. They're asking where they can see Bergy at.
At Twitch.tv. You can see me at freedomstream.tv. You can click on the Bergy Bit, or you can go. You can actually interact and engage on Twitch at twitch.tv / PFC
Bergy,
PFC underscore Bergy.
That's right. PFC underscore Bergy.
Yes.
And it's Monday through Friday, 7:00 Eastern. You go about an hour.
Yep.
Cover anything and everything.
Go over almost always.
And I want to say to the fans that are out there listening, I've listened to his show several times, and he has a plethora of information, and his comments are great too.
It's not the most artfully told, but it's an interesting story for sure.
Well, actually, that's what makes it so much better. It's because it's conversational.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I'm definitely not reading from a teleprompter.
No, you're not.
Well, the one thing that I like is that you seem to always have the goods. And I don't know, did Tori ever produced her DD Form 214 yet? I don't know. Seems like
it's in her time machine.
But I like how you always kind of
in the safe with Burns. It's in the safe with Burns' letter that allows him to do anything but murder and rape.
Yeah. Well, listen, we're
negotiated those into it. I don't know. It seemed like if you could do anything but that, I want the one that you can just murder, rape, pillage, do whatever you want.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I think
you promise to come back with us sometime. Promise to come back with us sometime. We'd love to be able to interview you again at another date. Hopefully, we can.
Thank you very much, folks. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Bergy.
This conversation started.
Yeah. Hey, I really appreciate it. God bless you, Bergy. We're thinking of you, praying for you, and we want you to know that we cannot, put into words how hard it was probably to kind of speak out. Being at the level that you were at to try to, do what's right and search for the truth. So.
I have my own issues, my own personal issues from several years in combat zones to deal with. I don't need to be dealing with these sociopaths that will attack you and lie and make up, and they'll use anything and they'll weaponize anything. That doesn't represent us, my friends. We gotta stop that.
Well, my advice means nothing. Real quick, Blondie, then I'll give you the last words, Blondie. My advice means nothing, but I would say. Keep continuing what you're doing, exposing with evidence-based, facts-based, science-based, with evidence and proof, and just keep your head up, rise above a lot of the trolls and everything. And I'm sure you didn't share like we've all gotten. If you get over the target, they come after you. And I don't. People like you, it really goes to show that if we had more people that would speak out and do it the right way, just like you said. Never going to violate your security clearance, never going to produce classified information. And I think, the whole Snowden and Julian Assange thing, we could have another conversation about that. But Blondie, do you want any final words for Bergy? We got to let him go. He's got to do a show.
I know. I got to let him go. Okay, listen.
Thank you, folks, though. Thank you very much.
everything, and I hope we can get you back. And the most important of all, thank you for your service, sir.
Thank you. Good night and God bless to everyone. Thank you.
All right, Bergy. Thank you. All right, Blondie,
Okay,
there you have it. Patrick Bergy.
They want us to start. They want us to start a space. Start a space, Jonathan.
Well, I want to have a little bit of reaction with you. Again, I wanted to let everybody know my comments are off.
I've been reading some of the comments here and trying to ask some of the questions that I can get to.
Well, I hope so.
You know,
I think Denali's over there moderating for us, but we.
Denali had a great question, but I didn't know how to really put it to Berkey. I mean, oh Lord!
Some things you might have to just take offline. Well,
yeah,
look,
well,
it's the first show that I've done since all this kind of started back in late August, September. And I think what we're going to do is one show a week going forward, Thursday nights, 5 o'clock Eastern. And if we don't have a guest, then we'll just kind of bring up some news articles and do like we've always done, Blondie. Have a show. No?
Yeah.
We'll get all the people in here.
There's other people. And listen, there's a lot of people on Spaces that are very knowledgeable and that we could have as guests. And
Absolutely.
I've been listening to them.
Absolutely. I want to interview.
Maybe we can find this guy named Miles.
I know it, right? Yeah, or he's the time traveler. You gotta catch him. He's like Tori. You know?
I know.
He's the time traveler.
Long, tall tales.
Well, I think it's going to be, like I said, once a week, every Thursday, 5 o'clock Eastern. We'll go about an hour or so. And I think with Bergy, I've got Lieutenant Colonel Tony Schaefer lined up for. Well, we haven't confirmed the date yet, but I've got Colonel Lawrence Sellin for the 20th coming up, and he's the one that worked at AMRID, which was the arm for research and for infectious disease, Fort Detrick, who's been trying to tell people that this whole Chinese collaboration with the medical and military and industrial complex has been going. Send all their CCP people over. They're in our facilities, Bio Level 4 Lab, Detrick. We've got 6 or 7 across the country. We've talked about those many times, but he, was very instrumental in helping Dr. Li Ming Yang, another whistleblower, who, if her husband or the CCP could find her, she would be disappeared like a lot of the other doctors, whistleblowers that tried to come out and talk about this. Need to talk about Xi'an. Need to talk about Ben Harmwell's reporting. Maybe we'll do that on Spaces. Y'all can come over for that. But it's like the CCP's up to their nefarious activities, just short of the Beijing Olympics. So something's going on over there in China. We got Kazakhstan. All eyes on Kazakhstan, right? Getting full-fledged in the simulation.
Did you know that's the birthplace of the Illuminati?
Yeah. Yeah, and so you've got the I believe the USS Harry Truman staying out for another deployment. That's odd, right? 6-month deployment, you get back, you R&R, you back and reload. Staying out.
I think we had a great interview tonight. I think we had a lot of fun, really.
It was fun. I'll try to find out. You broke up a little bit. I want to let everybody know that I started a locals page, right? And I did my first blog article, okay? And you can go sign up. And if you input promo code JITReport, you'll get free access to everything. And so y'all can do that. I've got a lot of stuff in there, as you can see, that I've just recently started doing. But this is where I'm going to kind of write or do some type of things that aren't in Telegram or Discord, right? Things that are just over here on locals. And so, you can kind of get over there, hang out for a little bit.
Well, listen, if you're on locals, look for Barnes Law, or Viva Barnes Law. Subscribe to him because he is the lawyer, or was the lawyer, for Rittenhouse in the beginning, along with Lynn Wood.
Hopefully everybody enjoyed it. I know I certainly did. Thanks again, Blondie. And again, thanks to Patrick Bergy. I hope everyone has a great rest of the evening. We'll see you over on Spaces. God bless all of the political prisoners in the D.C. jail, the 81 of them that sing the national anthem every night and are in solitary confinement, having their amendments violated, their Fourth Amendment, and God knows how many others. It's unacceptable. We should all be outraged. Again, Merry Christmas, and we will see you next week. I'm not going to reveal the guest yet because I'm still waiting on confirmation. But if I can pull this off, you won't want to miss it. And I'll just give you a quick hint. It looks like Ghislaine Maxwell is going to get another trial because looky here, everybody, we got a juror that might have been tainted. So. Little tease for you for next week. If I can pull it off, it should be a very interesting episode 5. I will see you guys next week.